Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Kiorkof, and welcome to this wonderful live stream. Let's go ahead. Let's kill the music, even though it is so damn good. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well on this great Sunday morning as we're watching a game over here between the Jaguars and, unfortunately, the Miami Dolphins. That is just one of the worst games I've seen all year long. I mean, just these offenses cannot move the ball in any capacity. But nonetheless, I'm here. We're talking Week 6 fantasy football. Just want to go ahead and preface a couple things, and I will be reiterating these points as we progress throughout today's live stream. First and foremost, everything to the left side of the screen is up-to-date rankings for the wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, running back position via PPR, 4-point per passing touchdown formats. Again, oftentimes, in comparison to a full PPR and a standard league, there are some variations, but not enough to where it's a drastic change. Unless a player is a super PPR monster where all they're getting is yardage. Receptions and their yardage counts aren't great. Also, I want to reiterate, all of the players that, of course, played on Thursday night's game and are currently playing in today's game, right now, at this current moment in time, as I see Laviska Shenault catch another pass here, those players are not mentioned in today's rankings because I didn't want to go ahead and fill spots when these guys are already in your lineups and already going. So in this current capacity, we have everybody that is remaining for the Sunday slate and the Monday night game between the Bills and Titans. Okay, cool. As long as we're all on the same page. I know there are there aren't really many outstanding players in regards to, is someone going to be missing this week? I don't think that's the case. I think we're all perfectly fine because Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, did he catch a touchdown? Please tell me that's a touchdown, Marvin Jones. Let's go. That's big. That's big. Let's go. All right. One of my fantasy teams gets a little bit of juice before halftime. Let's go. Finally. Gosh, man, I've been waiting for 3 weeks for Marvin Jones to show up, and finally, let's go. Goodness, I've been waiting for that. Anyway, good morning, everyone. I appreciate you guys being here. Be sure to smash the like button. Help support the channel. That's basically it. Let's get to answering questions. That is a great pass, a great completion. Marvin Jones, atta baby. Let's go. All right. People are sending in questions already. I'm going to go ahead and start answering them. Here we go. TFG Beats says, and I quote, full PPR format. We have ourselves Darrell Williams or Adam Thielen. At this current moment in time, in a full PPR format, I'm fairly confident I'm still going with Darrell Williams. I do like Adam Thielen a lot, as you could tell from where I have him ranked. Obviously, in comparison to earlier in the week, he's moved up a pretty good margin, mainly because, we're missing Devonta Smith, Mike Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. Players like that kind of progressed him up the list. But I still do believe in Darrell Williams a tad bit more in terms of game script, in terms of potential touchdown upside. Darrell Williams is my suggestion in that capacity. TFG, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the donation. Billington Bosman sends in a question, says, all right, good morning, Andrew. Thank you. Good morning to you as well. Should I start Darrell Henderson or Deontay Johnson? Also, someone in my league dropped Chris Carson. Should I pick him up? You should absolutely be picking up Chris Carson if you have an available bench spot and or an injured reserve spot in which you can slot him in. He's going to be out for the next 3 weeks minimum. If in fact he'll miss more times, more games because of, the neck injury, so be it. At least you'd have a shot at potentially getting the starting running back of the Seattle Seahawks if in fact he does come back and he's healthy. Now, in order to answer your first question, Darrell Henderson versus Deontay Johnson, I would play Darrell Henderson. In the last couple weeks, the New York Giants have been one of the worst teams in terms of stopping the run, and Darrell Henderson has been on a completely different level. I mean, in a half PPR, he's been averaging about 15.5 points per game, in a full about 16.5. The New York Giants defense as a whole in the last couple weeks, last week Zeke went for 110 yards and a touchdown, Pollard for 75 on the ground. The week before that, Kamara went for 120. So there are And even if you go back to week 1, Melvin Gordon went for 100 yards on them. So there have been multiple running back performances that have obviously highlighted the fact that the Miami Dolphins or the New York Giants defense isn't the greatest. So we go Henderson there. Appreciate it. Pedro sends it a question. Says start Claypool, Thielen, Claypool or Thielen. Okay, I'd pick Claypool there. Let's figure that out. So, and by the way, you say it's a standard league. Yes, I do believe in terms of high upside yardage and or high upside touchdowns, Claypool definitely edges out Adam Thielen in that regard. Mainly because, again, he is probably going to be heavily targeted with no Juju in that lineup. I'm trying to watch the game down here. This Mac Hollins guy is just absolutely eating up target. Is that Gesicki? I don't even know. No, it's some other tight end / wide receiver. Just eating targets today. I'm like, where the hell did he come from? You know? There's no Devontae Parker. Where's Preston Williams? That's what I'm wondering. Regardless, your second question, Pedro, says Madison or Jamal Williams. I would play Jamal Williams. I think because of the fact that Dalvin Cook is a full go, mainly because he's participated in full during practice, it gives me more of a confidence that this team is just going to feed him the ball. So at this point, I'd go Jamal Williams. I think he has potential upside in comparison, so I'd roll with him. Michael Williams sends in a question, says, start one running back and flex, PPR. We have Collins, Jacobs, A.J. Brown, Odell Beckham, Renfro, need upside. At this current moment, I'm going to lean with Jacobs at the running back position out of the players that you mentioned, so I'm going to go Josh Jacobs there. As for wide receiver, I am rolling with A.J. Brown. The next best flex option, in my opinion, if you were going to potentially, of the group, choose one, it would be Odell Beckham. So Jacobs at RB, and then it's between OBJ and or out. Goodness gracious, A.J. Brown. My brain is still calibrating this morning, obviously. So for right now, I'm saying A.J. Brown, but then I would follow it with OBJ. Thank you. Mario Gonzalez says, Darrell Williams, Zach Moss, Josh Jacobs, Khalil Herbert, Alex Collins. Pick 2, and Tyreek Hill, DJ. Okay. So let's first and foremost establish the most, I guess, important question. Which of these running backs are you playing? Assuming because of the fact you didn't mention anything via the scoring format, I'm going to assume that it's half PPR. So with that said, of that group of players, Darrell Williams and Zach Moss are my number 15 and 16 running backs as it currently stands on the screen to the left of me. Again, everybody who is in here, everything to the left side of the screen is my top 36 updated running back rankings for half PPR, top 36 wide receiver rankings, half PPR, top 16 quarterbacks in a 4-point per passing touchdown league, and top 16 tight ends in a half PPR scoring format. The predictions to the left of me, I predict who's going to win every single week. And the crazy thing is I went 14-2 last week, mainly because majority of the guys that were supposed to win actually ended up winning. So my record has very quickly, and on top of it, because of the Thursday night game, very quickly gone in the right direction. Luckily for me, but holy moly. Nonetheless, to answer your question, first and foremost, it was Zach Moss and Darrell Williams. And then your follow-up question there, Mario, was pick 2 out of Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin. I mean, at this point, if Tyreek Hill is a full go against that Washington football team defense, I am sending him out there. And I have, no problem at all in that scenario. And then I'd follow up with probably going Terry McLaurin in the opposite side of that matchup, because it is, as of right now, based on Vegas's over-under of total points, I think it's the highest scoring game based on implication of I think it's like 54.5 points. Should be a higher scoring one, so I'll take both those players in that respective matchup. But again, you have a lot of stacked receivers. The fact that you're not playing Moore or Jamar Chase is kind of disgusting, but it is the scenario that you are with. Joey in the chat says, is Hawkinson playing today? That is correct. He is going to be playing today. And he should be a perfect, overall play, as long as he, of course, isn't limping around the field and at least is seeing a couple, he needs to see like 8 targets minimum, and he needs to see red zone targets. But nonetheless, here we go. Jorge sends in a question. Says, GM Andrew, should I start Edmonds or A.J. Dillon for Dillon's recent upside? Okay. Yeah, okay. the recent upside is enticing, but the question remains, how often are those touchdowns going to be there? I don't think it's a commonality every single week. I think the opportunity will continue to grow as the season progresses, but in terms of touchdown upside, I don't know if it's fully there. I do like A.J. Dillon a lot this week, but in comparison to Chase Edmonds, I will take Chase Edmonds in this regard. As for your second question, A.J. Brown versus Adam Thielen, I'll lean towards A.J. Brown. Lastly, Knox or Hawkinson, I will go with Knox there. Thank you very much, Jorge. Coleman Young says full PPR, Amari or Michael Pittman Jr. It's a tough one because they're literally right next to each other in my rankings. Just to give you some context, the reason why I've kind of it's more of an upgrade for Amari Cooper rather than a downgrade for Michael Pittman. But the main reason I have Amari Cooper just slightly ahead is I think to myself, okay, Bill Belichick's going to want to stop tight ends. He'll do that. The number one target of, in terms of total targets, Schultz will kind of disappear a little bit. Hopefully not entirely, so that for those of you playing him, he'll be fine. But if in fact he disappears entirely, it will open up more opportunity for the receiving game, specifically the receivers. And then with, of course, T.Y. Hilton coming back, I think there's a possibility in which we could get a game where Michael Pittman may disappear. I mean, we saw a lot of utilization on Monday from Paris Campbell, from Zach Pascal. There are other receiving options in this offense that could end up digging into his work with T.Y. Hilton back. So just got to be careful in that regard. So for now, just slightly, Amari Cooper ahead of Michael Pittman Jr. Follow-up, the next question we have Josh sending. What the heck was that? Give me a second. I got to update something here. Okay, cool. All right, Josh sends in a question. Says, morning, Andrew. Morning. Full PPR, Sutton, Moss, or Sanders? Okay. It's a great overall question. I think if it's full PPR, I'm most likely rolling with Cortland Sutton. I do like Zach Moss a lot, but if Cortland Sutton's going to catch the ball, 8 or more times, or get something even remotely close to what he was able to do last week or a couple weeks ago where he had those monster performances, if he is able to even get remotely close there, because Casey Hayward is dealing with an injury, Trayvon Mullen was out last week, that secondary is in a little bit of trouble in terms of their health. There's a very good chance that Cortland Sutton has himself another big game here, so I'm going to lean in that direction. I go Cortland in a full PPR. Thank you. Craig Newman says, hey man, I need some help. I'm 1-4 and need to trade Christian McCaffrey. Do I trade Christian McCaffrey for Mixon and Jefferson, or Christian McCaffrey and A.J. Brown / CeeDee Lamb for Kupp and Mixon? I'm sorry, do I trade Christian McCaffrey for Mixon and Jefferson? If you can go ahead and get Joe Mixon and Justin Jefferson right now, and you do not have Hubbard, I would say that that's a great deal. Absolutely fantastic, because if you take it from the perspective of what we just did a month plus ago in terms of drafting, Christian McCaffrey was the first pick, but Mixon and Jefferson were middle of the second round picks. If you can pretty much trade your first overall for 2 second round picks, and obviously he's going to miss the next 3 weeks, I think you're in a very good spot to go ahead and get some value out of that. If you can go ahead and make that deal, I would. Thank you very much. Tom sends out a question. Says, full PPR flex. We have Darrell Williams, Devontae Booker, or Julio Jones. Start one, need upside. Out of the group, I am reserved in playing Julio Jones, mainly because I think he's going to be on a snap count. I think because of the hamstring injury, there is going to be a little bit of hesitation from the team to send him out there fully, because he didn't fully practice in comparison to some of the other options in that offense. So for now, we're going to go Darrell Williams. Thank you, Tom. Phil sends in a question, says, here we go. Where the heck did it? Dude, why does it update like this and mess everything up? Okay, cool. Here we go. Phil sends in a question. Says, I need help with a full PPR league. My quarterback is Herbert or Carr. I'm playing Herbert there. It's not even close. Thoughts on the matchup? Yeah, I know it could be concerning playing against the Baltimore defense, but I mean, we just saw Carson Wentz, pretty much carve them up for, I would say, 3.5 quarters until the offense just couldn't move in the late, stage of that game. But for now, yes, Herbert over Carr. To be honest, we don't know what that entire Raiders offense is going to look like, considering Gruden was the play caller and was by far and away pretty much the guy running the show there for the offense. So, Yes, I'm still playing Waller. Yes, I'm still playing Jacobs. But as for Carr, we're going to leave that to the side because they do play against Denver's tough secondary. So, yes, Herbert we're playing. As for your running backs, you have Chuba Hubbard, you have Josh Jacobs and Melvin Gordon, and even James Conner. If I'm starting 2 out of the 3, I am playing Chuba Hubbard and Josh Jacobs, and it's good to go there. Okay, another question Phil had. Full PPR still, wide receiver, start 2 in a flex, A.J. Brown, Kupp, Renfro, Beasley, Sanders. If we're starting 2 in a flex out of this situation with the running backs taken into account, we're playing A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp as your wide receiver 1 and 2, and your flex is going to be Emmanuel Sanders there, Phil. Thank you. Gucci Han sends in a question, says, Andrew, my guy, with 2 exclamation points. Second season with you. I appreciate your expertise. I don't think there's such a thing as expertise in fantasy football. And I don't think there's such thing as expertise in predicting potential future events that is completely based on factors that are out of our control. Anyway, that's a different conversation for another time. Nonetheless, I appreciate the kind words. I got Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Kareem, Lenny, and Joe Mixon with David Montgomery in the injured reserve. Should I make any moves? To be honest, with Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, you're set for your wide receiver position. Having Kareem Hunt, you're good. Leonard Fournette's balling. You don't really have to move in any capacity unless you're in like desperate need of a tight end. I honestly would prefer to keep that running back depth until Montgomery comes back. So no, you shouldn't move at all, Gucci Han. I think you're good to go, my guy. All right, Alex Wolf sends in a question. Khalil Herbert or Tony in the flex, half PPR? That is a really good question. With Sterling Shepard coming back today, it is going to be a true test as to whether or not Kadarius Toney is the real deal. Mainly because it's a matter of whether the offense is going to continue to utilize him and keep him on the field, even though the main slot receiver in that respective offense is returning. I think because he is a Swiss Army knife, they're going to move him around. He'll be fine. In regards to playing up against Khalil Herbert, I still think I'm going Khalil Herbert there. I want the touches. I want the guarantee of opportunity. So I'm going to lean in the direction of the running back in comparison. If it was a full PPR, I think I would go Tony. But because it's a half PPR, I'm thinking touchdown upside. I'm thinking potential in that regard. I'd go with Khalil Herbert. Thank you. Phil, another question, says, I got Dallas defense and Minnesota kicker. Greg Joseph, thoughts? Dallas defense is perfectly fine. Mac Jones has not been great this season. Overall, they're not really scoring much offensively. So Dallas' defense is great. Of course, they're going to cause turnovers, cause chaos. They're good to go. As for the kicker, Greg Joseph, I think I have him as my number 12 overall kicker today. Let me go ahead and... So right now, just to give everybody some context, my defenses at the top right now are like Rams, Steelers, Cowboys, Bills. Those are the ones you have to start. So as for your kicker, Greg Joseph is my number 11 ranked right now. I have him behind Chase McLaughlin. I have him behind Nick Folk, Brandon McManus, Dustin Hopkins. I've got Mason Crosby. I got a lot of other kickers up there that may be available in your league. So if any of those guys are available, potentially opt to pivot. But otherwise, Greg Joseph in that top 12 category nonetheless. FF sends in a question, says, standard, I'm 3-2. Russell Wilson's in my injured reserve. I have Burrow and Winston. All right, cool. So good. Winston's going to be able to help you out a lot in the coming weeks because of the strength of schedule. So that's awesome. So being offered either Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson and Mixon for Derrick Henry. Should I trade? No, absolutely not. Keep your roster. You're good to go. You should not be trading away Derrick Henry unless you are getting back the most possible value in the entire league, which would be getting back, a top 12 running back and a top 12 wide receiver rest of season. Because right now, Derrick Henry is the best player in fantasy. So you do not want to give him up unless you are getting an entire roster back or, some really strong players that you would think to yourself, why wouldn't I take Tyreek Hill and Dalvin Cook, something like that, something crazy. But otherwise, yeah, you're holding on to Derrick Henry and riding him to the finish line. All right, Chris sends in a question. Says, start one half PPR. We have Collins. Okay, that's Alex Collins. Michael Pittman Jr., Nyheim Hines, or Dalton Schultz. I'm going to play Michael Pittman Jr. there. Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Genst sends in a question. Or Genst. What is it? Commercial still? Okay, cool. Should I trade Christian McCaffrey and Jacoby Myers for Eckler and Emmanuel Sanders? have Monty, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Diggs, Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, and A.J. Brown. All right. The question really is whether or not you're capable of even surviving in the next 3 weeks without Christian McCaffrey. If your record is 1-4, 2-3, and you're looking down the barrel of losing 3 consecutive games, I think you have to make the move. And I don't think Eckler is a bad idea at all, especially if you don't have Chuba Hubbard. I think at this point, if this goes for everyone, if you're in a league in which you're most likely, a negative win-to-loss record, and you're looking down the barrel of losing a couple times here, and maybe because of these consecutive losses, getting in a situation where probably you can't make the playoffs, then yeah, you got to pivot from McCaffrey if you don't have Hubbard. So yeah, I don't mind that deal at all. Kobe sends in a question, says, why is the Dolphins coach so unintelligent with Gaskin? I know we're all thinking it. Look, the offensive coordinators, interestingly enough, they have co-offensive coordinators for the Dolphins. One of them is a running backs coach. So you would think that they would want to get the running back position involved more. Like Anthony Lynn, the former head coach of the Chargers and current offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, he used to be the running backs coach for the Buffalo Bills when LaShawn McCoy was there, and we saw how much utilization that offense got there. There's a reason why he got hired. It doesn't matter. Usually the specific position that you used to coach typically gets a lot more exposure than other. That's why we think like Dan Campbell, the head coach for the Detroit Lions. You would think, every single week, because he's a former tight ends coach for the New Orleans Saints, that every single week Hawkinson's getting 12 targets every single week, but it's not the case. Let's see here. Someone's saying, why no A. Brown ranking? On ranking? What do you mean? Is A.J. Brown not on the screen? A.J. Brown right there, number 19. Or do you mean Antonio Brown? Because Antonio Brown already played this week, my guy. So hopefully you meant A.J. Brown and you just weren't able to see it at 19. No problem. Let's see here. Okay, so Jenst said, I have Hubbard and Darrell Williams as well. Again, it really has to do with, can you survive? Because if you don't think you can, then you can make the trade and you're fine. Otherwise, you hold and you just let Hubbard play it out and see what you can get with when Christian McCaffrey returns. So it really just depends on your record and whether or not you think, based on what you see in terms of the teams you're playing and the bye weeks that you're going to have potentially, how that's going to affect your team in the long run. Mario sends in a question. Sorry, I meant 3: Hill, Moore, Terry, or Chase. Man, are we really leaving Jamar Chase on the bench? Because that's where it's kind of looking, in my opinion. Man, yeah, at this point, Hill, Moore, and Terry, that's the 3. I don't know if I can sit those 3, and I don't know if I could sit Jamar Chase, but for right now, those are my 3 suggestions, like it says on screen. Thank you, Mario. Bill sends in a question, says, hey, Andrew, which 2 out of, 3 today. Here we go. Let's go ahead. We have a wide receiver 2 in a flex, half PPR format. We have Kadarius Toney, Michael Pittman Jr., Jacoby Myers. If I'm picking 2 out of these potential 3 options, I'm going with Kadarius Toney of the New York Giants and Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indianapolis Colts. I would leave Jacoby Myers, unfortunately, on the bench, mainly because there's no upside for touchdowns. And again, the offense is kind of at times looked a little sporadic. Some weeks they're on, some weeks they're off, and I'm not willing to risk it when I have other great options like Toney and Pittman. The Jet TB21 says, pick 2, full PPR, Henderson, Gibson, Deontay. That's a great question. I'm probably playing both running backs. I love Deontay Johnson. You guys know that more than just about anybody. I've been yelling and banging pots and pans around the name Deontay Johnson for the last couple months now. But I'm playing Gibson and I'm playing Henderson. I think they both have incredible upside today, regardless of the full PPR format. Perry sends in a question, says full PPR flex, Sutton, A.J. Brown, Herbert, or Sanders. Between the group of players that you just mentioned, I'm going to, I'm probably going to go Cortland Sutton in a full PPR over A.J. Brown. So mainly because A.J. Brown is also still coming back from an injury. And when I think, okay, A.J. Brown throughout his typical career, this has never been a guy that can have incredible upside via receptions. He's always been limited in terms of total targets. And if, in fact, they limit his snap count today in comparison, in a full PPR, I think there's more of a chance that Sutton catches the ball more, gives him a little bit of a steadier baseline of production. So, yeah, that's where I'd go. Someone's in the chat saying, why D'Ernest Johnson instead of Felton? Mainly because I haven't seen Felton run the ball once this season. Does he even have a rushing attempt to his name? I'm actually curious, like legit. Like, I can figure that out right now, but that's the main impetus as to why. Let's see here, season. If we go to Felton literally doesn't have a rushing attempt this year. He has targets, sure, but he doesn't have a single rushing attempt. Now, if you're going to tell me, hey, Andrew, he's going to catch the ball out of the backfield, I'll say, you know what? He probably is. And he probably could be a PPR receiving threat. Or he completely disappears like he has in weeks past, and he doesn't do anything. I don't know what we're going to get, but I'm just thinking if this is a team that likes to run the ball as much as they do, they probably want to go ahead and hand it off to D'Ernest Johnson. My goodness, why is that so hard to say? Dan Arnold's getting cracked. Come on, man. You got to catch a couple more passes here. Unnecessary roughness. Beautiful. Let's get the penalty. Move the ball. Moving on. Phil sends in a question. Says, by the way, this always happens to me. Finally was able to draft Christian McCaffrey this year. And now this injury. Thoughts in these injuries when it comes to him? And do I look to trade if possible? If you don't have Chuba Hubbard, you should probably look to trade. If your team is at a point where, you're going to be missing him and losing a couple weeks here in a consecutive fashion, that is going to potentially knock you out of a playoff seed. So if that's going to be the case, you probably need to move him. Someone in the chat saying, is Christian McCaffrey going today? No, Christian McCaffrey is on the injured reserve. Did he just fumble on the 1 yard line? Please don't tell me that's the case. Literally, I think that would just be an absolute travesty if that was the case. But anyway, Phil, if the record permits it, you should be moving. Gucci Khan says, I got Mark Andrews too, but if you say no moves, I'll keep the squad. No, you have no moves. Now that I know you also have Mark Andrews, you have no moves to make. Your team is so solid at this point. Damn, James Robinson is just an angry runner, and I love every factor about it. Perfect. Anyway, you're good to go, Gucci Khan. Keep the roster as such. Josh says half PPR, Sutton, Boyd, Rashad Bateman. I'm going to lean with Sutton there. I can understand the Rashad Bateman potential because of Sammy Watkins being out, but I think he fits into a Sammy Watkins role where he catches the ball maybe 5 times for 40 yards. Does that lead to a touchdown? That's the coin toss. Again, it is a relatively tough secondary matchup there, and there's a lot of other, are we kidding me? Who scored there? Please tell me it's my man. Please tell me it's James Robinson. Everybody's dabbing him up, so are we good? Dabbing him up? We're good? Please tell me that's a handoff and not a fullback dive, because I will just be in pain. Pause, champ. Thank goodness James Robinson. Let's go. All right, listen. The Jaguars are slowly but surely making this a beautiful game. The first half was not pretty until the last, couple minutes there. But now we're looking good. Okay, anyway, Sutton's my choice there, Josh. Thank you. Damon Smith, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Says, hey, man, what are your thoughts on starting Shepard and Tony at the same time? I don't mind that. I'm going to be totally honest, I don't. Because I know for a fact that Daniel Jones is quarterback, whether or not he is still fuzzy and concussed, those are the two guys that he's throwing the ball to. There is literally no one else on the field. Maybe a little bit of sprinkles for Evan Ingram or Devontae Booker out of the backfield, but really there's no one else that should be catching the ball. Or should I replace one with Allen Robinson? To be totally honest, there is a reason why I have both Shepard and Tony ranked above Allen Robinson, and I'm gonna commit to that. I'm playing both of them ahead of Allen Robinson. So regardless, you're getting all of the receptions out of that Giants game, which they probably will be throwing for probably the entire game, considering the game script. So you're good to go there, Damon. Thank you. Matt Hoover sends in a question. Pick 3: DK, Terry, Deontay, Mike Williams, DJ. All right, cool. So Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and the third option, I'm probably going with Deontay Johnson. The reason why I say that is because Mike Williams has been questionable all week, and I am legitimately afraid that he ends up aggravating his injury, and we got a problem. Is Slayton out? From what I saw, Aaron, yes, he is. I was answering someone in the chat. Anyway, so yeah, at this point, Terry, DJ, Deontay. Okay, thank you very much. It's Newski says, pick 2 for the flex position. We have St. Brown, Renfro, and Khalil Herbert, full PPR. I would play St. Brown and Herbert there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. E-Rock sends in a question. Says, Tony, Darrell Williams, or Pittman, PPR, or bench A.J. Brown. Or bench A.J. Brown for one of those other options. At this point, I'm going to play A.J. Brown there, and I'm going to play Darrell Williams. Thank you. FF sends in another question. Thanks, Andrew. Became a subscriber this year. Drafted with your tier list. Watch every video. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I mean, listen, some of those tier list players either exploded or have not shown up in the last. But I mean, that's the thing. That's fantasy football. Though one year could, show us one thing. Next thing you know, Dawson Knox is a top 5 tight end, and we're thinking to ourselves, this guy's been in the league for the last couple of years, has not seen a lick of attention from Josh Allen, but all of a sudden comes out of nowhere. But either way, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nick Kane says, lost Christian McCaffrey, need points. Would you start Julio over CeeDee Lamb? I would not. I think Julio Jones is probably going to be on a snap count today. So at this current moment in time, I would not be playing him over CeeDee Lamb of all wide receivers. Thank you. Still standing, 777 sends in a question, or sends in a donation, but there wasn't a question here. It was a little pair dancing. Let's see. Is there any questions that you sent in, my guy? Daniel Jones or Aaron Rodgers? I'm playing Aaron Rodgers there. Appreciate your work. You do. Thank you very much. Also says Emmanuel Sanders or Robert Woods. I would go with Robert Woods there. Unless you're looking for like standard league. If we're talking about a standard league, I'm probably going Emmanuel Sanders because of the touchdown upside. But half PPR, full PPR, would probably go Woods there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Still standing. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get back to this. King Prell sends in a question. Says pick 2. Half PPR. We have Sutton, Higgins. I'm assuming that's T. Higgins. Shepard, Hardman, or Kirk. Yeah, I don't want to play Christian Kirk. Out of the players that you've mentioned, I'm playing T. Higgins and Cortland Sutton. I appreciate it, King. Just to go ahead and remind everyone, there's about 500 of you in here. Everything to the left side of the screen is updated rankings as of this morning. So it does not include this game that, the green screen behind me blurs. Did you see that? Oh, that's perfect, dude. The field is green. I'm telling you, I promise. Anyway, so the players that are currently going right now with the Miami Dolphins and Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not included. The Thursday night game is not included. So everything else has been kind of shuffled up, updated as of this morning based on the different injuries and all that kind of stuff. Everything's up to date. Left side of the screen, top 36 wide receivers, running backs, top 16 tight ends, all at half PPR, and then top 16 quarterbacks in a 4-point per passing touchdown format. Thank you very much. All right. Also, a couple things I want to remind you guys of. If you guys can, hit the like button down below. It does really help me out a lot. And if you guys are looking for more fantasy football, Underdog Fantasy, if you sign up today with the link down below and promo code Andrew, with your first deposit of $10 or more, you'll be given an additional $10 in bonus cash, whether it is pick'ems and or drafting in the Battle Royale. There's a lot of fun games there, guys. I'm not even kidding. There's an aspect of fantasy football that I didn't think I could kind of. I don't even know what the phrase is. Like, there's a point of fantasy football where I thought, okay, I have 13 teams. I have exposure for all players across the board. I couldn't get more excited about it. And then next thing I know, I'm playing Underdog, and I'm addicted to it to an extent. So if you're interested, check it out. Thank you very much. Promo code Andrew. All right. So where are we at here? Jake says, OBJ or Kadarius Toney in a full PPR format? Thanks so much ahead of time. Thank you very much, Jake. I appreciate it. That's a really good question. In a full PPR, are we going Toney or are we going OBJ? I think more than ever, OBJ is going to be utilized in this offense. He probably has his best day today in comparison to what we've seen this season from him. But I still think I'm going Kadarius Toney. I think the target volume, or specifically the receptions, the points you're going to get from receptions from Toney, is probably something that I want to tap in on more than OBJ's potential that we haven't really gotten yet, but we're hoping would end up kind of figuring itself out this week without Chubb in the lineup. But that said, yeah, I'm probably going Tony there. I appreciate it, Jake. Carlos sends in a question. Says standard flex. T. Higgins, we have Renfro, we have Knox, we have Schultz. Wow, that is a very good question. In my opinion, it's between Knox and Higgins. I personally am probably going to go Dawson Knox. I think if we're looking for touchdown upside, that's the guy. He's been scoring touchdowns, weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's just a consecutive, monster of points. And in a standard league where you need touchdowns to kind of separate yourself from the rest of the pack, we're going to play Knox in this scenario, Carlos. I appreciate it, man. Juan Vaca Ramirez says full PPR, Darrell Williams or Chuba Hubbard? That's a great question. PPR, pick one. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's answer the first question first and foremost. If it's a full PPR scoring format, even if it wasn't, let's say it's half, even if it's a standard league, I'm playing Chuba Hubbard. The last time we saw him play, and maybe everybody has a short memory, if I'm not mistaken, he ran for 100 yards on Philly's defense and had like 5 catches. Am I crazy? Let me go check this right now. Last time we saw him, 24 rushing attempts for 101 yards, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 33 yards. The rushing touchdown will eventually accompany his performance, and he'll get him into a 20-point game one of these weeks. It will be. Maybe it's this week. Regardless, between him and Darrell Williams, I'm all on the board of Chuba Hubbard. There's a reason why they drafted him, and I'm glad he's getting the opportunity to ball out and help us out in fantasy. As for your follow-up question, PPR pick one, Zach Moss, Khalil Herbert, Darrell Williams. I would consider Darrell Williams and Zach Moss a lot closer, maybe even throw Darrell Williams ahead of Zach Moss in a full PPR, but I think Zach Moss is probably just the play there. I think it's close. I think you can go either way, but between the two of them and Khalil Herbert's a little bit farther down in my my overall list there in full PPR, but yeah, for right now we go Zach Moss. I appreciate that, Juan. WX11 says Damian Harris, or should I pick up D'Ernest Johnson? This is what I'll go ahead and say, guys. D'Ernest Johnson is very much so a desperate play. I know I did read it, okay? The head coach for the Cleveland Browns did, in fact, say Kevin Stefanski. Is that a... Dude, Hollins is feasting. Wow. Holy moly. The head coach, Kevin Stefanski, did, in fact, say, hey, Kareem Hunt is beat up. I am not trying to kill Kareem Hunt today in terms of giving him touches. So eventually some other running back, whether it's Felton or D'Ernest Johnson, is going to touch the ball. To what capacity, to what success, that is up to be, kind of to be determined. But with that all kind of mentioned, I would rather go with the known commodity if Damian Harris is playing, regardless of what, he dealt with injury-wise last week and being limited throughout practice throughout the week. If he's playing, he's in my lineup ahead of D'Ernest Johnson. Thank you. Let's see here. Another question. I see you, Mark sends in a question. Says Claypool, Keenan Allen, Godwin. Which two have the highest upside rest of season in standard scoring? Wow, that's a good question. I think Claypool is in that conversation purely out of touchdown upside. What in the heck is Myles Gaskin doing? Sometimes Myles Gaskin just doesn't make right decisions. Like, that's just terrible. In regards to Keenan Allen and Chris Godwin, who has higher upside rest of season? In a standard league, it has to be Godwin. I think it has to be Claypool and Godwin, honestly. Because if we're not counting receptions in any capacity, we're looking for touchdowns and yards. And I think Godwin and Claypool outmatch Keenan Allen in that regard. So that's my suggestion there. I see you, Mark. Mr. Notorious sends in a question, says, should I trade away Chubb for Saquon and Pittman? Chubb's only going to be out for like 1 week. I mean, if you're just thinking like, hey, should I just make this switch because I want Pittman as well? Honestly, I don't think that's the wisest decision. I don't know when Saquon's coming back. I don't know what the rest of your team looks like at this point. If you're worried about just him missing 1 week, I tell you not to be. It's a calf injury, sure. But I don't think Chubb is going to miss an extended period of time to where we are trying to have to move him like we're moving Christian McCaffrey, okay? Thank you very much, Mr. Notorious. Let's see here. Bizarre Ride 2 says, full PPR, Allen Robinson, Mooney, Javonte Williams, or Devontae Booker. Devontae Booker and Javonte Williams, those are the two I'm probably leaning towards. Though I do believe there has to be a way that Justin Fields figures it out. I mean, of all the secondaries to play against, I think Green Bay's probably one of the easier ones this week. But even then, it's just, there's no guarantee. So between Devontae Booker and Javonte Williams, I'm probably going Booker there. I appreciate it. Thank you. ENG the Gamer says A.J. Brown or Claypool. It's not even close in my opinion. Like I have it in full PPR, Claypool is my number 13 overall wide receiver this week, while A.J. Brown is sitting there at 19 to the left side of the screen. In a full PPR, to be honest, I even see Claypool, getting more receptions, so that just continues to solidify that point in comparison. Thank you. Dylan Kim says half PPR Shepard, Javonte, Rondell, or Bateman. The wide receivers for the Arizona Cardinals outside of Hopkins, they are coin tosses across the board. Are they worth playing? I don't know, because I don't know what what we're going to expect to see. The quarterback's coach, Cliff Kingsbury, they're not going to be there today. They got popped with positive tests. They're not allowed to be there in Cleveland. Now, are they going to be on a headset, on a phone somewhere in the facility making play calls? Maybe, but it's not going to be the same. I can assure you that. So with that said, in terms of where I go, I'm probably going Javonte Williams out of the group of players you mentioned. I think Sterling Shepard does have potential in a half PPR, but just not as much upside. So we go with Javonte Williams there in a very advantageous matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders run-stop defense that at times is practically non-existent. We move on to, let's see here, Pancakes or Get the F Out. Okay, cool. Interesting name. Don't worry, I remember the name from last week. Thank you very much. Says Rashad Bateman or Rashad Penny is worth a stash. Bateman, 100%. Not even close. I think Penny wouldn't even be able to beat out Alex Collins right now. Penny, unfortunately, is a blunder. He is one of those first-round picks, like many that we have seen throughout the National Football League year in and year out, that end up just not being it. Unfortunately, the ACL injury from a couple years past has definitely done him in. Moving on, Eric sends in a question. Says trade Christian McCaffrey for Dalvin or Eckler. All my RBs are hurt. Yes, either one. It doesn't make a difference to me. I do not mind. If you do not have Chuba Hubbard, I don't mind pivoting there. Absolutely. Give me Dalvin, give me Eckler, either one. Because again, if all your running backs are hurt and you're going to be losing weeks, just remember Dalvin and Eckler both have bye weeks next week. So you're still not going to have running backs next week. But nonetheless, if you are in need of help from weeks 8 and 9 and you're not going to have McCaffrey and you need help this week as well, you might have to, you have to pivot. Christian Rodriguez says standard, Thielen, Pittman, Higgins. In a standard league, I'm going Michael Pittman Jr. Thank you very much, Christian. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Next question. Nathan sends in a question. Says, full PPR, I need to at least one running back. Okay, cool. Herbert, Collins, Booker, Sutton, Tony. Thanks much. You rock. Thank you. Booker is my suggestion at the running back position. I have Booker ahead of Herbert and Collins. As for the wide receiver position or the next best available player, I would play Sutton. So Booker and Sutton. Thank you. Luis says, I need a wide receiver in a flex. Julio Jones, Waddle, Allen Robinson, Hawkinson, Javonte Williams, Shepard. Wow. Waddle's already playing. So, Luis, I think Waddle even scored. For context sake, I had Waddle as my number 32 wide receiver as of this morning for my Patreon rankings. He's obviously crushed that in the first quarter of the game as he scored, or first half of the game in which he scored. But regardless, yes, Waddle is having a good game, AW. So yeah, Waddle was moved up pretty much to the number 32 spot behind Patrick and between OBJ. So yeah, let's see here. In terms of the remaining players, wide receiver and flex wise, am I playing Hawkinson over a Allen Robinson or Julio Jones or Javonte Williams and Shepard? No, I don't think so. Technically I would love that, but I don't know if it's going to be guaranteed success. So at this point, I'm probably playing Javonte Williams and I'm playing Shepard. So Shepard's your wide receiver and Javonte's your flex. Thank you. Robeezy says Cortland Sutton versus Casey Hayward at the flex, or Tyler Boyd versus Detroit. I'm probably still going Sutton because Casey Hayward did not practice on Friday. I think he's a little banged up. I don't know what one moment, please. Let me see what the designation is in terms of his injury. Injury report, Las Vegas Raiders. Casey Hayward, they don't have any designation for it. What is it? Sorry, it's a knee injury. The fact that he went Wednesday and Thursday full practicing, then didn't participate at all on Friday is not a good sign. You may think, oh, you know what? He's actually they're resting him. That's completely the opposite of the logic. You would actually rather rest him instead of full practicing Wednesday and Thursday earlier in the week, because you can do walk-arounds and install, via film. You don't have to be on the field, Wednesday and Thursday, but you need to be on the field for Friday. So I think Cortland Sutton's the play this week. John sends in a question, says Bengals or Cardinals defense? Great question. Checking my rankings, I have Cincinnati at 7. I have Cardinals at 9. So I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals there. I tried to get Dallas deep, but lost to waivers. Okay, no problem. Leaning Arizona because they have the Texans next week. Yeah, look, I have them at number 7 versus number 9. Overall, it's a matter of if you want to go ahead and grab them just so you have the great matchup next week, I think that's a good idea. Just keep into account, Chandler Jones is on the COVID IR. He is not playing this week. If that is going to make a difference in terms of your decision making, I just wanted to let you know that's the case. And they're also missing Zach Allen. That's another linebacker that they're missing. So they are missing some pieces. They're not going to be the full capacity Arizona Cardinals. That's why I have Cincinnati ahead of them this week. But then nonetheless, if you want to go ahead and stash it for next week as well, you can. Jaden sends in a question, says, Sanders or Hollywood? I'm playing Hollywood there. Should I trade Mahomes or is it an overreaction? Also, I have both CeeDee Lamb and Zeke. Should I trade one? No, I don't think you should. Unless you think you're going to get better value from another player, I think you're holding CeeDee Lamb and Zeke because they're only getting better over time in reality. As for Mahomes, is it an overreaction to think about trading him? No, I don't think you should trade him. If you can get good value for him in exchange for, I don't know, another top quarterback, sure, I don't mind it, but it's a matter of like, what better can you get out of him? He's prior to, okay, just for the purposes of just transparency, prior to Thursday's game, if you don't count the players that are playing right now, or Brady and, what's his name? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes was the number 1 fantasy quarterback in terms of total points. So what are we worried about? Like, 33 points, 24 points, 23 points, 31 points, 19 points. Okay, he had one bad week. It's a definite overreaction. Don't move him. And don't move Zeke or CD. Play Hollywood, you're good to go. Thank you. Let's see here. We have GE81 says, Chase Edmonds, Khalil Herbert, Latavius Murray, half PPR. How you doing, buddy? I'm doing great. To be honest, if the Jacksonville Jaguars here can go down and score, whether it's Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, or James Robinson, my day would be significantly better. He drops back in the pocket, and then he gets immediately sacked, fumbles, turnover. Why do I talk? Why do I even watch the game? I swear I just jinxed it. I swear. I'd like to formally apologize to everyone that had Trevor Lawrence, that had any other pieces there. I may have just cursed the team. And, sometimes I don't realize my own strength and the ability that I have on the universe. I don't know what to say, guys. Anyway, so how am I doing? I'm not doing so well after that one. Nonetheless, as for your question, GE81, I'm going with Chase Edmonds in this specific circumstance in a half PPR. It's really between him and Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert will probably get more touches, but it's a matter of can Khalil Herbert get the PPR work? I don't know if that's going to be an automatic in his specific circumstance. So, wait, what do I have? Okay, yeah. So at this point, I think as long as Chase Edmonds is playing, it's probably going to be a game which they're probably going to throw a lot more than they run because the Cleveland's defense has been pretty good this year in terms of stopping the run. So I'm thinking we're going with Chase Edmonds. Guys, I'm sorry. It's just it's so sad. I don't even understand. As soon as I look down, instantly, it's just horrible. Q Crew says, check your rankings. Would it be crazy for me to start Jamar Chase over Hopkins? No, I don't mind it. Legitimately, I do not mind it at all. I think Jamar Chase is good enough to where you can start him every week over any other wide receiver, and I wouldn't blink. I legitimately wouldn't blink. So just putting it out there, I do not mind it. Alex says, how should I deal with Chubb moving forward? I have Henry, Henderson, and Patterson. Honestly, you just hold them. Because again, let's just put it into context, Alex. We're in week 6. Week 14 begins everyone's fantasy playoffs. That means we have so many weeks ahead of bye weeks, of more injuries, of more different circumstances we're going to have to deal with, whether it is with Henry, Henderson, or Patterson. So you want to hold and you want to have the best backfield of running backs in your league because that's what's going to win you the whole thing. If you have Chubb, Henry, and Henderson in the fantasy football playoffs weeks 15, 16, and 17, you are going to be crushing everyone. So you want to hold. You want to hold for sure. Alexander Drucker says, flex, standard, Julio, Tony, Edmonds, full PPR, flex, different. Okay, this is different. Okay, so let's talk about the first question. As for a standard league, Julio, Tony, and Edmonds, I'm playing Tony. Yeah, I'm playing Kadarius Toney there. As much as I'd like the running back, I feel like a lot of Chase Edmonds is not touchdown upside. It's rather PPR work with yardage. And I think we can find as much yardage, but even a higher upside of potential touchdown opportunity for Tony there. So that's where we go, Tony. Did they just throw a pick? Let's go. Let's go. I mean, listen, if you have Myles Gaskin or Mike Gesicki, you're not alone. I just really need the Jaguars players to play well because I have too many of them. I made a mistake, and I thought to myself, this offense is going to be better than anybody thinks. It really isn't. So I've invested heavily into James Robinson, into Marvin Jones, into Laviska Shenault, as you guys can tell from my offseason videos. But nonetheless, glad to see the interception happen. Okay. So Tony's the suggestion there. Your follow-up question, Mr. Drucker, is full PPR flex, different league, Booker, Renfro, St. Brown. Great question. I would... Can Devontae Booker surpass 12 fantasy points and then have even more upside going forward? I think it's possible. Oh man, are they moving the ball or what? Let's go. Big play. Booker or St. Brown? I feel like it's Booker. St. Brown is really enticing, and because he's a hidden gem, I'm trying to play this like straight across the board. I don't want to favor him more than I should, so I'm just going to be very, objective about it. I would play Devontae Booker. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Mark T says full PPR, Darrell Williams or Mike Williams. I'm playing Mike Williams. I know he's got the potential of missing time or being hurt or any of that extent, but I would play Mike Williams. Tanner sends it a question. Jefferson or McLaurin? McLaurin is active again. I know that. He's good to go. From what I heard out of the head coach, Ron Rivera, the reason why he was limited all week was more of a quote-unquote precautionary reason. We wanted to make sure that he was good, and he worked with the trainers during practice. Otherwise, he's fine. With that said, I'm still playing Justin Jefferson ahead of him. Thank you. But again, I mean, like, how aren't you playing Jefferson and McLaurin? Like, how much of a stud roster do you have, Tanner? A. Daniel says, full PPR, need a flex, Pittman or Darrell Williams? Yeah, I'm going Darrell Williams there. That's pretty much been the case all day. Darrell Williams he's in a very good spot. Is he the best running back talent? Absolutely not. But is he in an offense that could potentially get him a goal line rushing attempt and get him working the PPR game and probably 18 touches? Yes. And that's why I'm leaning in the direction of him. Diggs Buckeyes says, pick 3. We have Cook, Hubbard, Herbert, or Javonte Williams. Out of the players that you mentioned, Dalvin Cook's an automatic play, and there's a reason why he's my number 3 running back on the week, as you can see on the left side of the screen. As for the next running back, Hubbard, easy play, no questions asked. I'm probably going to go with... If Melvin Gordon screws up the whole week for Javonte Williams, it will hurt my soul because this is a week where Javonte Williams, healthy, good to go, we have Melvin Gordon week in and week out dealing with injuries, still managing to steal touches, which is expected. With that said, yeah, I'm probably going Javonte Williams there. I think there's just a little bit more potential upside. But if the touchdown's stolen, it is a terrible situation. Let's hope it's not the case, though. Just want to remind you guys, just for the purposes of, for however many people are in here, let's see, 538 of you. The rankings over there, sorry, the camera's flipped. The rankings over there, they're up to date as of this morning. So if you're wondering, hey, should I be playing Melvin Gordon or A.J. Dillon? Melvin Gordon number 22 and A.J. Dillon number 27 out of my top 36 half PPR rankings. Okay, cool. Up to date. It's changed drastically. That's why every single day when we do those rankings video, I say rankings are subject to change because they always change throughout the week. Just keeping that all on the same page. Thank you. Let's see here. Anthony sends in a question. Cole Beasley, Hunter Henry, Tyler Higbee at the flex. Hunter Henry. Actually, though, I'm not playing Cole Beasley. As much as I like Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders and even Dawson Knox are really cutting into his work. So I would go Hunter Henry there. Thank you. Aaron Moreno says, Myers or Pittman? I'm going to play Pittman there in a full PPR. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Aaron. Let's see here. Francisco sends in a question. Says, should I sell high on Marvin now? If so, for who? Well, the game's not even over yet. So as much as I'd like to sell Marvin Jones, I don't even know what his stats look like. I don't know what his target share looks like. If you want to trade him, sure. But I don't even know what the end result is going to be at this point. So I think we're a little bit early. But nonetheless, Francisco, I think your mind is in the right spot in the idea of, yes, let's try to move him. And let's try to probably go after players that are underutilized or not underutilized. How about underperforming? Like if you can go get, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, who's a gnarly wide receiver that hasn't shown up in the last couple of weeks. Is that a touchdown? Damn, dude. If you can try to go and package deal and try to get Chris Godwin in return, I think it's a good idea. But I'm talking about package deal. 1-for-1, I don't even know off the top of my head if I could trade Marvin Jones. I mean, if you can get Adam Thielen, I'm okay with that. If you can go get Amari Cooper, I'm good with that. If you get Woods, I'm good with that. Brandon Cooks, I'm good with that. There's a lot of options out there. So, yeah. Thank you. Alex Apking says, Keenan Allen or Darrell Henderson flex full PPR? That is a fantastic question. I think there's just so much safety of production in Darrell Henderson. Yeah, I think, oh man. Typically, in a full PPR, especially with Keenan Allen of all wide receivers, did they just fail on 4th and 2? My God, this game is so bad. I don't even, oh my God. As soon as I look, it just keeps getting worse, guys. Gee, anyway, the whole conversation was Keenan Allen versus Darrell Henderson. My whole concern is that Henderson is just probably going to just put up 16 points automatic. It's a matter of what is Keenan Allen going to do? If, in fact, I had confirmation that Mike Williams wasn't playing, I would say it's Keenan Allen and it's not even close. But considering, I'm just looking at numbers, just raw. The last couple weeks, 8 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. So that's 13, 19 points. Then the week after, it gets 10.6 points. The week after that, 13.5 points. Earlier this season, 14.8 points. And then we had 19 points in that other category. I think if Keenan Allen comes out and has a monster game, scores a touchdown, he will outscore Darrell Henderson potentially. But in my opinion, I'm just going to roll with the guy that I feel safer with, that is going to get the guaranteed touches in this scenario. So I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson. I appreciate it, Alex. But again, in terms of upside, if in fact we get a game in which Keenan Allen scores a touchdown, he will end up, outproducing. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. Where are we at? Okay. Zorka 422 says, Hardman, Collins, or St. Brown. Half PPR looking for upside facing Tyreek Hill and Hunt. If you're looking for upside, I think it's probably McCall Hardman. If you're just looking for solid points, you probably just go ahead and roll out Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you just want the 10 points, Amon-Ra. If you want upside, you probably go Hardman there, and you hope for the big touchdown. That's really it. Let's see here. Futuristic Old School says Cousins or Heineke. I have Jefferson. I'm still running Heineke there. I have a lot of hope that he's going to have a pop-off game here. Let's see here. Dave Jones TV says play 3. We have Deontay, Jamar Chase, Marquise Brown, and Mixon. That's a really good question. Deontay Johnson and Jamar Chase automatically play in my eyes. And then when we talk about Marquise Brown or Mixon, I'm going Mixon there. So I'm leaving Marquise Brown on the bench. How am I doing it? Listen, your team's just, it's that good that I have to leave him there. Because again, the Los Angeles Chargers matchup is very tough for the wide receiver position. Thank you very much. Rondell Johnson says, wide receiver, choose 2, McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, Lockett, Lamb, Renfro. McLaurin and Lamb, those are the 2 that I prefer at the top of the list. Then it would be followed by, very closely, Hollywood Brown, then Lockett, then Renfro. So McLaurin, Lamb, Hollywood, Lockett, Renfro. Cool. Flex 1, choose Darrell Williams, Alex Collins, Rondell Moore, Jamal Williams. As for your second question, I am flexing Darrell Williams there. Thank you. Aaron sends in a question, says flex Thielen, Brown, or Collins, playing Cook and Jefferson. Excuse me. If we're flexing an option here between Thielen and AJ Brown, I have AJ Brown a little bit higher. If you're worried about his hamstring, you can play Thielen and you're good to go. But yeah, and you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself all of the receiving work out of the Vikings game. But in terms of who I think has more upside, it's probably AJ Brown. Claypool or Lamb? I have Claypool ranked a little bit higher. Malcolm S. Thank you for sending in a question. As you can see to the left side of the screen, we have Claypool as my number 13 overall wide receiver, while we have Lamb at number 15. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anthony Barrett says, Chase Edmonds or Devontae Booker, PPR? Oh, man, that's a good question. In a full PPR scoring format, if Chase Edmonds catches the ball 5 times for like 50 yards, gets himself like 50 rushing yards, that's a 15-point week, just easy. Is Devontae Booker capable? Yeah, I think Devontae Booker's just slightly ahead. Man, I don't even know if it's actually that much. I want to check something out real quick. What is the target share that Daniel Jones sends to his respective running backs? I got to check something out real quick. Let's see here. Okay. Let me see here. What does Saquon see the last couple weeks prior to his injury in terms of targets? 6 targets, 5 targets. Yeah, we go Devontae Booker there. Thank you, Devontae. Let's see here. We have Chris sending in another question. Says, would you try to trade Lockett or hold? I would. Okay, so from what I've heard from the potential diagnosis of the injury, Gesicki's eating. Is that correct? That's what I like to hear. We're good with that. I like that. Is Myles Gaskin running a 3-yard run on a halfback draw? Yep. Let's see here. Aaron says, I meant AJ Brown. Sorry, Marquise Brown, not AJ. Oh, okay. So let me go up to your question. Yeah, I would play Marquise Brown then. Yes, I would play Marquise Brown. Yeah. Marquise Hollywood Brown. You're good to go. Gesicki's having a good game. I mean, look, that was the expectation, right? Because who else are they going to throw the ball to if Devontae Parker's out, right? The hope was that it would be Preston Williams, but I think Preston Williams is hurt. So that's unfortunately the case. Damn, Miami's moving the ball quick. It's more of a competitive game now. I like that. So anyway, the Lockett question, Chris. Sorry, we got off track there a second. Honestly, let me just check something here. Okay, cool. Are we trading Lockett? Yeah, because the diagnosis that I've heard is that Russell Wilson's out for like 6 to 8 weeks. That's the reason why they put him on the injured reserve, because he'll probably kind of run 2 stints there until week 10 and until week 13. Can you potentially hold until then? Probably not. So, I mean, at very best, he comes back in like 6, maybe a month. Can you wait a month if, in fact, Lockett isn't Lockett? Like, Lockett is only himself when he's having those 28-point games. So, unless unless we wait and just see what exactly Geno Smith does this week, and then if Geno Smith is, okay but not great, then we have to move him. But I think, me personally, I'm looking to move him. Let's see here. Justin sends in a question, says, my team is 1-4. My quarterbacks are Mahomes and Fields. Okay, Fields is not your quarterback. You mean Mahomes is your quarterback. Fields should honestly just be dropped. Running backs are Chubb, Damian Harris, Moss. Okay, cool. Wide receivers are Pittman, Kupp, Sutton, Mooney, Ridley. Tight end is Henry. Should I try to trade for a top-end player or stick with my team? Trade for a top-end player? I don't know how you would go about that anyway. Because you have Chubb and Kupp. Those are your top-end players. And Ridley, excuse me. So in order to improve drastically and not give those pieces away, you're going to have to move like Pittman and Moss and try to get an upgraded RB if you can. Is that possible? Maybe if someone in your league is looking for that, then yeah. I mean, you can go ahead and potentially try to upgrade. I always look to try to upgrade my team. You never want to stay stagnant. You always want to either improve or you're probably getting worse as the weeks progress. So at this point, yeah, I think if you can get a better running back 2 option, you should. Otherwise, Moss is fine. Who just scored a touchdown? Is that Gaskin? That'd be fantastic if that's the case. Waddle. That's the second touchdown of the day. That's great. All right, moving on. Jacob Bradley says, should I trade Darren Waller for Chase Claypool? Really? Okay. Non-tight end league. Standard scoring. I already have Keenan Allen and Amari. If it's a non-tight end league, as in you're literally just picking this player up to either play in the flex or wide receiver role, then yes, I would probably just roll. In a non-PPR rest of season, yeah, I probably just roll with Chase Claypool. Thank you. Tanner sends in a question. Says, Hopkins or McLaurin? Will Terry be targeted more? Terry should be targeted more, mainly because the offense is going to have to just be throwing the entire game. But with that said, it's between him and Hopkins, and I'm still leaning Hopkins because I saw what Mike Williams did to that defense and what number 1 wide receivers have done to the Cleveland Browns. If you want me to reiterate it from earlier this week's video, go ahead and read that to you right now. Number 1 outside wide receivers kill the Cleveland Browns secondary. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 197 and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks, 9 catches, 78 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 84 and a touchdown. Mike Williams, 8 catches, 165 and 2 touchdowns. Thank you very much. Case closed. Either way, Hopkins is my suggestion there, but if you like to play Terry, you certainly can. He's in my top 7 for a reason. Matthew Kroll sends in a question, says, trade Alex Collins for Clyde. I'm 4-1 chilling. Yes. Yeah, I would do that. If you don't need running back depth right now in the form of Alex Collins, absolutely, I'm good with that. Travis sends in a question, says, and I quote, Higgins or Mike Williams in the flex? I'm playing Mike Williams there. Worried about Williams' injury this week? I am concerned too, but I would rather play him and get 3 points than leave him on my bench and he gets 23. Honestly, that's just my perspective. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm assuming he's playing because he is capable of playing, not because he has to. All right, moving on. Kelly Barlow says, who would you start at RB2? Khalil Herbert or Javonte Williams? And why would you play one over the other? At this point, it's mainly because of matchup. I think, yes, the Green Bay matchup can be okay. Kyle, in the chat, let's see here. Why do you keep spamming, dude? Gee, many Christmas. You got to stop, Kyle, please, okay? You got to stop. Here, let me just answer your question so you can stop for the God's sake. What does it say? Would you package Henderson and Christian McCaffrey for Derrick Henry? Do you have Hubbard? It doesn't seem like you have Hubbard. So you might have to, honestly. You might have to. All right. Kelly. So, as for Javonte and or Khalil Herbert, the question remains if, in fact, because I do believe that the Raiders matchup is just better overall. And I do believe that Denver's probably in a scenario where they'll have a better chance of, in terms of game script, running the ball. Because I expect Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay to be winning the majority of the game. So if that's the case, Khalil Herbert's not going to be able to run the ball the entire game. And he will be given opportunity in the passing game if, in fact, they even give it to him. Maybe he's not running right out of the backfield. I don't know how they're going to potentially use him. So in terms of game script, in terms of matchup, it is in the favor of Javonte. And even though he doesn't potentially get as many touches today, I think The effectiveness in which we've seen him touch the ball is just better. Let's see here. Let's do this real quick. All right. So, Dave Jones TV says, misread, play 3, Deontay Claypool, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Mixon. Got it. Did you say Brown as well up there? Wait, that's just Deontay, Chase, Brown, and Mixon. Okay. You meant Chase Claypool, not Jamar Chase. Understood. Thank you. Deontay Johnson, Claypool, Hollywood Brown, Mixon. Yeah, I'm playing Deontay, Claypool, and Mixon, and I'm still leaving Marquise Brown on the bench, unfortunately. Luke sends in a question. Hubbard, Darrell Williams, or Khalil Herbert? I'm playing Hubbard. Thank you. Chad sends in a question. Received James Robinson this week and was offered to trade James Robinson and Emmanuel Sanders for Swift and Ridley. Should I take it? Robinson and Sanders for Swift and Ridley. Yeah, I would take Swift and Ridley rest of the season. Especially if we're in any sort of PPR format, half or full. I would take that. Let's see here. Okay, cool. All right, let me see this game real quick, guys. We're in the red zone here. No, sorry. I thought, never mind. We're in the opposite red zone. I don't know why the heck I thought Miami still had the ball. Oh, because they scored. That's why. I'm losing my mind out here for a second. Anyway. Okay. Quick reminder. Everybody. There's 552 of you in here exactly. If just half of you could just click that like button, if you haven't yet already, that would be extremely, that would make my day, legitimately. That fumble that Trevor Lawrence had, that would be wiped from my memory. My day would be significantly better. Again, do not forget their updated rankings to the left side of the screen over there. Top 36 running backs, wide receivers, top 16 quarterbacks and tight ends, updated as of this morning. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. All right, so Berlin B sends in a question. Says, I traded Mixon away for Chubb. I'm okay with that. Was it a good trade? Standard? Yes. I think it's a fantastic trade. Eckler and Dalvin Cook are the running backs. Great trade. Legitimately, that is a very good trade. Even with the fact that Mixon is Chubb is missing this week, I'm okay with it. All right. Let's look at this chat here. Someone says, no Shepard. No, I have Shepard. Shepard's number 33. I don't know why Jacksonville didn't kick the field goal earlier. They're chasing points. Yeah, listen, Jacksonville's going to do everything they can to potentially get the first pick again for some reason. I don't know why. They go for it on 4th and 2 instead of kicking the field goal and just expanding their lead. It's just bad coaching. That's really what it is. It's just bad coaching. Either way, Jaden Thornton sends it a question. Henry for Kamara and Patterson. Man, Henry for Kamara and Patterson. No. I think I have to hold. Oh, man. And now my ear is it's like air trapped in it now. Okay, well, that's uncomfortable. That's going to bother me the entire day. Henry for Kamara and Patterson. I don't know, man. In a full PPR, if Kamara is going to catch the ball 5 times a game for the rest of the season, it's probably a good idea because Kamara can match him. But the way that Henry's being used right now, I don't think you can move from it. I can't. Oh no, dude, they're trapped in my ear. It's just going to kill me the rest of the day. Okay. I can't get it out. Oh my God. I'm in shambles, guys. I'm in shambles. Okay. Trude Boy says, Colts or Rams defense? I have the Rams defense as my number 1 defense of the week, by the way. So I play Rams. Lockett for Keenan Allen. If you can get Keenan Allen for the Lockett, yes, please. Oh my God, yes, please. Big Dog Pound 1 says, who would you start in a full PPR league? Zach Moss or Darrell Williams? I talked about it earlier. very slightly, Zach Moss still edges him out. Just very slightly. All right, I popped the ear. My God. I hate that. It's just so uncomfortable. Don't worry, Alex. I was trying that the whole time. It just wasn't working. What's in your ear? No, nothing. It wasn't. Doesn't matter. If you guys haven't felt that sensation where I don't know, it's like air gets trapped in it. It's weird. Anyway, done. Figured it out. I'm good to go. Okay, I'm no longer in shambles. The Hab sends in a question, or the Hob. JT and AJB for Chubb and Lamb. Jonathan Taylor, you mean, and AJ Brown for Chubb and Lamb. Jonathan Taylor and AJ Brown for Chubb and Lamb. I probably, man, that's a close one. I think I probably go with Chubb and Lamb, honestly. Yeah, that's probably where I go in the direction of right now, rest of the season. Brandon sends in a question, half PPR. I have Kamara and Patterson on bye, okay. Picked up Williams from KC. Edmonds or Dillon at my RB2. We're playing Edmonds there at RB2. Would you play the other in the flex for Sutton, Hawkinson? No, I honestly would play Sutton there at the flex. And if you have Knox starting, yeah, you're fine there. So I'd play Edmonds at RB2 and I play Sutton at the flex. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Ear infection? No, guys, relax. You've never had it where the air gets trapped in your ear because you try to blow your nose or no, you never had that? Really? Am I the only one? Francisco says, how do you feel about McLaurin today? Hamstring during the week scares me. Yeah. Francisco, what Ron Rivera has been quoted to have said this week is that the only reason he was limited in practice because it was a precautionary reason. They wanted him to be ready for Sunday, so they held him out and just had him work with the trainers in order to just make sure he's good to go. Otherwise, he's a full go today, and there's no problem. So I expect him to be, F1 Terry McLaurin balling out. Would you start Keenan Allen or Kareem Hunt or DK Metcalf in the flex? I have Terry McLaurin and Deontay Johnson starting a wide receiver. I would play Kareem Hunt. Even if Kareem Hunt is quote-unquote banged up, he's probably very easily in line for at least one touchdown today. Can you help me with Hawk and Schultz? Yeah, like it says on screen, at this current moment in time, I have TJ Hawkinson ahead of Dalton Schultz, so that's where I'm going. All right, Jake Beach sent in a donation. I appreciate it, Jake, but there is no message attached to it, so let's see if I can find your name in this chat. Jake Beach says, I need help selecting my second flex option. Non-PPR, Jamal Williams, Dalton Schultz, A.J. Dillon, or Henry Ruggs. Damn, that's a really good question. If we're looking for touchdown upside via no PPR format, I got to check something real quick because I'm leaning towards A.J. Dillon. Let me check something. Yeah, let's go A.J. Dillon. That's what I'm going to suggest right now. We'll go A.J. Dillon there in your flex position, Jake. Thank you. Eric sends in a question. Let's see here. Eric. Where are we at? Eric sends in a question. Says, Renfro, Pollard, or Rondell Moore in the flex? Okay, great question. Is it a half PPR? If so, I'm probably going Renfro there. If it's a full PPR, I probably go Renfro as well, but I just wanted to confirm. Either way, I'm going Renfro. I don't mind Pollard in a half or a standard, especially with Zeke kind of being quote-unquote questionable, but I think that's also a precautionary measure because him falling on a pylon really shouldn't be a big deal. I think they're just kind of giving him rest and just saying that that's the case. So you're good to go with Renfro. Let's see here. Jorge sends in a question, says Hubbard, Claypool, or Bobby Trees in a standard. That's a good question. First of all, you don't want to play Bobby Trees. You want to play Robert Woods because Bobby Trees is actually the alter ego in which he just does not play well. That being said, in a standard format, it's between Claypool and Hubbard because I'm looking for touchdown upside. I probably go with Hubbard there. I just want the guaranteed touches, and I think there's probably just as equal of a likelihood of a touchdown between the two of him and Claypool. Colin Smith says Claypool or Higgins rest of season. Claypool. Half PPR, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Claypool for sure because without what's his name? without Juju Smith-Schuster, there's just so many more targets to be had. Without utilization of tight end in that offense and Big Ben slowly getting back to being what he was last season, Claypool's just got a better upside going forward. Claypool or Hubbard in the flex, both ranked 13. Yeah, I'd play Hubbard. Thank you very much, Miles. Steven C says, I have Darnold and Tannehill. Big Ben, Wentz, Geno, and Mayfield, top waiver quarterbacks. Down big already. Which quarterback has the highest ceiling? It's that's a good question. So the question is, am I playing Wentz in order to see if I can maintain a comeback, or should I just roll with Darnold? I'd probably just roll with Darnold and just hope for, the receiving touchdowns from Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, etc. Otherwise, I don't think anybody has like omega upside. At least I can't see it out of Big Ben, Wentz, Mayfield, or Tannehill. No, I can't see it there. So I'm good with just rolling Darnold. Steven sends it a question. Pick 2, Thielen, Rondell Moore, Ruggs. Love the show. Thanks. As of this moment, I'm going with Thielen and Moore. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Gunmai says, good day to you, Andrew. Good day to you as well. Got a flex 2. OBJ, Pittman, Julio. OBJ and Pittman are my suggestions there. How many minutes are left? 6? Okay, interesting. Alex S. says, standard, Claypool, Woods, Booker in the flex. At that capacity, I would play Claypool at the flex. In a full PPR, Claypool, Darrell Williams in my flex. Thank you for all you do, Andrew. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Between Darrell Williams and Claypool in the flex, I'm playing Claypool. So Claypool in both scenarios, we're all in on him. Is Elliott playing? Yes, Jorge, he is playing. And he should be great. He should be absolutely fantastic today. Someone said something about bad weather. Hopkins have bad weather. Let's go ahead and check that out. Yeah, I'm actually curious if that's going to be a case of contention, and that's possibly a scenario in which it's not good, because Cleveland bad weather is really bad. And you can go back to last season. If you go, I think it was weeks 8 through like 12. There was like 4 consecutive games in Cleveland. They played like four consecutive home games within like a stretch of like 6 games, in which, I mean, it was rain every single week and receivers were unplayable there. So with that said, let me look at this. Cleveland, where art thou? Cleveland, 61 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, no potential rain as of this current moment in time. In fact, the Eagles, okay, so let's see, that game happened, Okay, Chicago, 59 and clear. Detroit and Indianapolis, both in the dome. The Giants, clear weather, 64. Washington, 61 clear. Panthers, 63 clear. Ravens, 62 partly cloudy. Same thing with the Browns, 61 partly cloudy. Otherwise, Broncos, 75 and clear. Honestly, everything is clear weather or just quote-unquote partly cloudy. There's no weather concern. I'm looking at the updated forecast as of literally 9 a.m. this morning, so 22 minutes ago. Hawkinson or Dawson Knox in a full PPR. Angel, honestly, I'm going to play Dawson Knox, legitimately. 300 likes, we did it. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you. Steven C says, Cowboys or Bills defense? Steven, that's a good question. I don't know if I could not play the Bills defense. They've been so good this season that I probably just roll them out there. So yeah, I'm probably going Bills. Even though I do think it's going to be a closer game than people anticipate, I'm going to go Bills. Let's see here. No Meza says 1-4, 12 team, half PPR. Need to drop 1 for Seals. Rest of my team is Hurts, Robinson, Mike Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, Corey Davis, Brandon Cooks, Kadarius Toney, Latavius Murray, or Kyle Pitts. If we're dropping one of these players for Ricky Seals-Jones this week, probably dropping Latavius Murray, in all honesty. Yeah, probably dropping Latavius there. Thank you. Lager says, got a flex one. Khalil Herbert, Cortland Sutton, or Tyler Boyd. I'm playing Cortland Sutton there. Also, do you trust A.J. Brown this week? Thank you. Love you, boo. Okay, interesting. Who scored a touchdown? Is that a touchdown or am I crazy? What is this? I came in late. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's punt. Anyway, do I trust A.J. Brown this week? I trust him to an extent. I do believe he will be limited in some capacities. He won't be on the field for the whole game. But, I mean, this team is going to have to throw the ball. Derrick Henry, though I have him as my number one, he probably finishes somewhere below the top 5 because the Buffalo Bills defense is really that good. But out of the respect for Henry, I leave him at 1 because, he's the number 1 running back in fantasy. And if he ends up having a 300-yard rushing game with 7 touchdowns, am I going to be surprised? Absolutely not. So, with that said, do I trust A.J. Brown? Yes, because they will be throwing the ball, and he will be the number 1 receiver in that offense. Alex sends in a question, says, do you think this week could be Javante's breakout week? Or should I start Lockett or Collins? Do I play Lockett over Javonte Williams? So to answer your first question, do I think it's his breakout week? I don't particularly think that this is his breakout week technically, mainly because I think his schedule gets even better. Let me look this up real quick. Denver's schedule. So Denver gets to play against, so I think his breakout week is probably week 10 against Philly. And then in week 12 against the Chargers, 13 against Kansas City, 14 against Detroit, 15 against Cincinnati, 16 against Las Vegas, 17 against Los Angeles Chargers again. I think weeks 10 through 17 are all Javonte. But if he ends up having a touchdown today with, the couple catches, the 15 rushing attempts, he gets, 50 rushing yards, touchdown, a couple catches here and there, he becomes a 15-point fantasy play, I wouldn't be surprised. Because the Las Vegas Raiders defense is really that bad on the ground. And if you're a Raiders fan, you know that. They have had struggles in terms of stopping the run year in and year out. And it is what it is. And there's a reason why last week the Bears ran for 130 yards on them. The week before, the Chargers ran for 150 yards on them. There are, it's just a pattern of failure from that defense, and it's going to continue to be exposed. So as for Javonte or Lockett, I probably just take the safe play of Javonte because I don't know what the heck Lockett's going to even be today. All right, let's see here. They're reviewing it. Where was the follow-up? Okay, Alex sends in a question. Said, okay, so yeah, we did that. Cool, awesome. Let me get into this chat. Tony or Herbert, full PPR. Help, I'm torn. Timothy, Tony or Herbert? At this point, I want to play Tony. I really do want to play Tony. I think it might just be safer to do it too. Man, but if Herbert scores a touchdown, everything goes to trash. I want to play Tony, and that's probably my suggestion, but that's got to be in a scenario in which Herbert doesn't score. So if you think Herbert's going to score, then that's the play. But otherwise, I'm thinking Tony. Let's see here. Hawkinson or Schultz in a standard format? That's a good question. So who's going to get a touchdown? I think it's probably Hawkinson. I'm going to ride with Hawkinson there, my guy. Why did Mike Evans have a bad game this week? I don't know. I haven't watched the film yet. I'll go ahead and probably do that tomorrow. But regardless, the reason why he probably had a bad game, I'm going to assume, is because his opportunity wasn't there. Let's go see how many targets Mike Evans had. Let's see here. Mike Evans, what did you get your target count? He had 4 targets this last week. So that means that's the least amount of targets he had the entire season. And I don't know if he's had that many targets. Let's see here. I mean, it happens. I'm looking at Mike Evans last season. He had, what was this, five games of 4 or less targets. And in 2 of those games last season, he had 3 touchdowns. So, or one with 1 touchdown and the other with 2 touchdowns. So, nonetheless, Mike Evans at times is saved by touchdowns. But yeah, when the opportunity is not there, I know. Wasn't Slay covering him most of the game? Yeah, I mean, that's probably the case. But Darius Slay has been, though a lot of people, okay, I remember the Darius Slay from Detroit. That was a different machine than what we have now. The Darius Slay right now doesn't scare Mike Evans and Tom Brady. But if there are going to be other wide receivers that are open and they're just going to tear them apart with O.J. Howard and, you're going to make plays with just running the ball, that's the biggest difference maker. But when Antonio Brown OJ Howard and Leonard Fournette are your 3 touchdown scorers, and it's not going in the direction of Mike Evans, then, his value is completely decimated, because without, 10 plus targets, he's not going to get any baseline of production. Let's see here. A couple questions rolled in. Doza says, start 2, full PPR. Sutton, Myers, Tony. We need upside in a full PPR format. Sutton is the first play. As for Tony and or Myers, I am going with Kadarius Toney. Thank you very much. KJ says, Pittman or Shepard full PPR? I would play Pittman. Thank you. Steven C says, Hawkinson or Seals, higher ceiling. Hawkinson has been brutal. I absolutely agree. Hawkinson has been trash. Not even brutal. Trash. Mainly because he's injured, and it's unfortunate. So with that said, if it's my team, I probably want to just roll out my Hawkinson and just hope. Who just caught that ball? That was an insane catch. Marvin Jones having that day. I even said it on the weekly wide receiver video. Somebody could go find the clip. I was like, you know what? Marvin Jones has been trashed for 2 weeks in a row, and everyone wants to probably bench him, but this is probably the week that he goes off, because that's Marvin Jones. Because that's what I remember from him in Detroit. Literally, whenever he's down and out, he comes back with an incredible performance. That's how he is. But nonetheless, going back to the question, if it's Hawkinson or Ricky Seals-Jones, I do think that Ricky Seals-Jones could very easily have high upside. Does he have higher upside than Hawkinson? Depends what Hawkinson we get. If you're anticipating Hawkinson to be a shell of himself again, then just play Seals and just roll it, and you'll be fine. Z&B Prank Channel says PPR start 1. We have Renfro, Cooks, or Jones. I'm going to play Brandon Cooks there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Eric Wright says, traded Williams for Diggs. Williams for Diggs? Mike Williams? Okay. 4-1, Hopkins, Cup are my other wide receivers. Okay. Yeah, listen, Diggs is going to have a breakout game this week. And from here on forth, he's going to go absolutely nuclear. So it's going to be great to see Diggs pop off. No problem. McCaffrey, Carson on injured reserve. Rolling with Collins and Herbert at running back. Okay. Wide receivers are Hopkins, DJ Moore, and Godwin. Waddle and Mooney. Should I trade Godwin for Fournette / Jacobs or hold? If you can trade Godwin for Fournette, you probably should, because you need running back help right now. And if you can give something lesser and get Jacobs, like you can give away Waddle and get him, then by all means, do it. Cody says, Zach Pascal or Rashard Higgins? Rashard Higgins. I was waiting for someone to ask that question. I think Rashard Higgins scores a touchdown today. At the flex PPR, injuries are killing me this year. Yeah, no, I feel you. Join the club. We are all dying from injuries, and it is unfortunate. So, is that a coffin corner? No, that wasn't even a punt. That was a pass. Yikes, Trevor Lawrence. What in the heck are you doing, buddy? Holy moly. I thought that was a punt. He threw it to the pylon, and no one was even there. Okay. Gavin Murphy sends in a donation, but there wasn't a question attached, Gavin. So I'm going to go ahead and see if your message is in the chat by any chance. Let's see here. Gavin, there seems to be no message in the chat. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Moving on, Roberto Garcia says, Lockett or A.J. Brown on a snap count. I'm rolling with A.J. Brown. I might be crazy, but that's just my opinion. I think that he will play better. If you think otherwise, please play Lockett and roll him out there, and you'll be good to go. But at the end of the day, I'm just giving you guys my opinion. Doesn't mean it's 100% correct. Trust me, you guys have been here for the last couple weeks, years, months. You know it's not always correct, okay? Thank you. Did he miss the kick? Oh my God. Wait, did it go in? Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me, right? Dude, that's an act of God. That isn't a regular kick. Why does it just curved mid-air, no shot, right? David Garcia says, Aaron Jones or Lockett? It's not even close, David. You have to play Aaron Jones. You have to play Aaron Jones. 100%. Not even close. Let's see here. Carter says, Lamb or Cooks flex PPR? That's a good question. Man, I really want to play Cooks, but I think Lamb's the way to go. Logart says, traded Keenan Allen for James Robinson. Good trade. Yeah, if you needed running back depth, that's a fantastic trade. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Did Gavin send anything into this chat? No? Okay, in honor of Gavin, I'm going to answer somebody's random question in the chat that is typically a flex question. So thank you, Gavin, in advance. That's a crazy field goal. Seriously, that's actually insane. Darnold or Heineke, in terms of upside? Heineke. Should I drop Latavius Murray and pick up Sutton and start Sutton over Lockett and Thielen? Yes. Moore or Metcalf? Moore. Guys, a lot of you are asking questions that could be answered on the screen. Literally over there is everything that you want to know. You want to know the top 36 wide receiver rankings, DJ Moore versus DK Metcalf? It's there. DJ Moore's my number 8, DK Metcalf's my number 14. It's up to date. These are not the rankings from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday videos. These are as of this morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check them out. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see here. What are we doing? Would you start both Mike Williams and Keenan? Yes, I would. Mike Williams, McLaurin, Amari Cooper at wide receiver. Like you can see in my rankings to the left, McLaurin and Mike Williams are probably the guys I'm going with there. Thank you. Moore or Metcalf start? I'd play Moore. Khalil Herbert or Sutton? All right, here we go. This is the flex question of the day. If I'm playing one of them in a half PPR scoring format, I'm actually, you know what, regardless of format, I think I'm going Sutton. Yeah, I'm going Sutton regardless of format. Let's see here. They're running the ball. They're getting crushed. I can't believe how inept the offensive line is for the Miami Dolphins. I can't believe it. They should have just, I don't know, went and got Penei from Oregon. They should have went and got him. I swear, it's just so bad. Their offensive line is just rough. Here we go. Unknown says Thielen or Edmonds half PPR. Thielen or Edmonds? Probably Thielen. Thank you. Kyle Smiley says half PPR, Alex Collins or JD McKissick this week. I am playing Alex Collins over JD. If it's a full PPR, I would probably go with JD, but it's a half, so I go Collins. Khalil Herbert or Darrell Williams. As you can see to the left of the screen, I have Darrell Williams significantly higher than Khalil Herbert, but even in a full PPR, I think the work that, in terms of receptions, both will get, is still going to lean in the direction of Darrell Williams there. People asking questions already answered. Yeah, but it was answered, maybe, 30, 40 minutes ago. They just came in, Paul. So just, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. That's why it's a live stream. People are going to come in. I'm going to reiterate some points. It's not a big deal. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to help. A.J. Brown or Emmanuel Sanders. If you are worried about the injury, you could play Emmanuel Sanders. But as you can see on screen, that's how I have it. Shepard or Tony? I'm in a standard league. I'm still going Tony. Knox or Tony? That's a good question. In a full PPR, I probably just play Tony because I don't know if Knox is going to get enough receptions to constitute him being a better play. I have D-Hop and Swift, and they have they've either gotten 8 or 20 points. Should I try to trade one of them, or will they become more consistent? I think they'll become more consistent over time, mainly because DeAndre Swift's still dealing with a groin injury, and if and when he finally kind of figures that out, he'll be fine. Let's see here. All right, this guy has been spamming in the chat. You're just going to not be allowed to type anymore. Thank you. Chubb for Keenan Allen. If you're getting Chubb and you're giving away Keenan Allen, yes, please. Pollard or Damian Harris? I'd play Damian Harris. If he is playing today, I would roll with him. Alex Turner says Tony or Lockett. Tony or Lockett? As we can see on screen, I currently have Tyler Lockett as my number 25 and Kadarius Toney as my number 27. The reason why I have Lockett ahead of him is because I know what Lockett rolls looks like. I know that he's going to get his targets done. As for Tony, Sterling Shepard comes back, and that could either be the greatest thing for him or his biggest nightmare. And for our case, our biggest nightmare. So in that specific, capacity or scenario, we would go Lockett. All right, I got to go check my fantasy team here. One of my teams had Marvin Jones. I'm just curious what the heck the points look like right now. My team. Okay, matchups. Here we go. Let's see here. So Marvin Jones in a half PPR, 19.5 points, 7 catches, 100, and a tutty. Oh my goodness. Let's go. That's big. That's big. It's a big game right there. Big game. All right, cool. But is LaVisca Chenault going to show up today? Because that'd be nice as well. I mean, that'd be greatly appreciated. I know he has 4 catches for 33, but we need him to catch one more ball, please. Thank you. A couple more questions came in. Let's see here. Andrew says, appreciate all you do. Keep up the good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. KJ says, Collins or McKissick? We did that. Did you ask that again? No, we already did that. Okay, cool. And then, wait. I swear I saw that questions before. Yeah, Kyle Smiley sent in the same question. Funny enough. But either way, I am in a full PPR, I play McKissick over Collins. But for right now, I would play Collins and a half. So, yeah. In your case, KJ, I'd play McKissick. Mike Marquez says Pollard or Allen Robinson in a full PPR. That's a good question. And to be honest, I'd probably go Allen Robinson there. Need to Cooks, Claypool, Sanders, Tony, PPR. I would play Cooks and I would play Claypool. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay. Let me check something out real quick. Make sure that everybody is good to go in terms of playing this week. I don't want to have a lineup here with a dead situation. Here we go. What the heck is this? What? Okay. Yep. Sorry, guys. Just got to check some of my teams here. Okay, that's very strange. Okay, cool. Coming back. All right, couple of the more questions kind of came in. Zinski sends in a question. Thank you very much. Is that another catch for Mike Gesicki? Because if it is, I love it. Zinski says, need to. Oh, yeah, we did that. Cooks, Claypool, good to go. B3 sends in a question. Kirk or Ben? I'm going to play Kirk Cousins. I have Chase, and my opponent has Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris. Yeah, I'm still playing Kirk Cousins. I just think he's the better play. Taylor M says, Tony or Zach Moss? I would play Zach Moss in a half PPR. Thank you. Bizinski also says, need to Herbert, Cooks, Tony, Sanders. Cooks and Sanders. Thank you. Kareem sends in a question, says, PPR, Javonte Williams or Pittman? In a full PPR, I would I'm going to play Pittman there. Yeah, play Pittman. What down is it here? Malcolm Brown. Oh, no, you got stuffed? Or not. Maybe they get the yardage they needed? Oh, man, that's a close call. That's going to be an interesting one. No problem, B3, no problem. Do you think Mark Andrews will stay as a top 3 tight end throughout the season? I mean, that was the assumption this offseason, right? Because Kittle got hurt, maybe rest of season Kittle comes back and balls out. But, I mean, Mark Andrews is probably in that conversation as long as Kittle and Hawkinson are hurt. Let's see here. Doza, Khalil Herbert, or Tony? I was talking about this earlier. I'm going to go with Tony in that scenario. Someone just asked me Hopkins or Tony? Wait, why wouldn't you play DeAndre Hopkins, Oscar? What? That's not a real question, is it? So, yeah, you're playing Hopkins. Western Goods says, Lamb or Lockett? I'm going to play Lamb. Swift or Henderson, PPR. In a PPR, I am playing Swift. Yeah, that's what I'll say. PPR Swift. Even in a half, I'm pretty sure I'd go Swift. But either way, it's because the upside's higher. Alexander sends in a question. PPR, Hollywood, Amari, or A.J. Brown? Hollywood Brown is my suggestion there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Didn't make it turnover. Wow, it was a 4th down. They went for it, and they gave it to Malcolm Brown, and he didn't get it. I mean, listen, we need one catch from Laviska Shenault. That's all we need. We need one catch there, please. One of my my underdog pick'ems is Laviska Shenault and his total receptions. I think what was the line at? I gotta go find it. Where the heck are my pick'ems for this last week? Let's see here. Manhurt's got a penalty or some. Okay, anyway, coming back to the chat. What do we have here? Noe Mesa says, drop Allen Robinson and pick up Tony. Okay. If you are playing in a league that is less than 12 teams, I'd say okay. But in any other capacity, I'd probably say you know what? Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Even if. Let's just roll it. Any chance Damian Williams misses multiple weeks for COVID and Herbert gets another start? Very possible, Jacob. Very possible. In all honesty, I have no clue. But it's possible. I guess technically, theoretically, it's possible. Trading Marquise Brown for Pittman and Najee. Beautiful. Do it. 100%. Let's see here. Trevor Lawrence gets sacked, of course. Is this an overtime game? Because for fantasy purposes, I love it. Yes. Again, guys, the reason why I'm watching this game is because I'm trying to see if my over-under on Underdog pans out, because I think I had, was it 4.5 or 3.5 receptions for Chenault? Regardless, if you guys haven't checked out Underdog, another way to play fantasy football, if you sign up today with your first deposit of $10 or more with promo code Andrew, all that information is down in the description of the video. You'll get an additional $10 in bonus cash in which you can play in contests, pick'ems, all this kind of jazz, regardless of what sport. But either way, in this specific scenario, is that Laviska Shenault with another catch? Because if it is, that's great. I think that's all I needed, and we're good to go. Cool. I just needed one more catch. I needed to get to that 5 region, and now we're there. We're on our way to success. Trying to make some money on the side, you know. Let's see here. Latavius Murray or Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams or Darrell Williams, you mean? Because Jamal Williams for the Kansas City Chiefs, even if he was a ghost, I might even go with him. But either way, I think you mean Darrell Williams. No, you mean Jamal Williams. What am I saying? I was thinking Jamar Charles. I don't know why I just immediately went away. Sorry. My brain doesn't function anymore, Will. Latavius Murray is my suggestion. What the heck just happened there? You know, I thought to myself, Will wouldn't ask a question that's literally on screen. There's no way he would ask that question. He'd look at the screen, he'd see Latavius Murray at 24 and Jamal Williams at 29. He wouldn't ask me that. And instead, he would ask me a question about Jamal Charles to make it funny. But instead, that wasn't the case, Will. And now I've gone ahead and made it all known that, again, on the left side of the screen, updated rankings, guys. If you are in need of them, I don't know how you could look at the screen and not find them. That's as clear and as printed as possible. Hopefully, it can help you out this week and let you catch a W. That's the entire purpose of it being on screen. So thank you. All right. Let's see here. A couple questions came in. Ali sends in a question. Says PPR Javonte or Edmonds? Tony or Cooks? I'm going to play Cooks there, and I'm going to play Edmonds there. I appreciate that, Ali. Let's see here. What the heck is this? All right, cool. Pyrex Pop says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Rashad Bateman or T.Y. Hilton? That is a great question, Johnny. If I had to pick one of the two, I would probably go with T.Y. Hilton. Let's see here. Lamb or Claypool in a standard? Listen, if I have Claypool higher in a half PPR, then you know I have him higher in a standard, because we all know Claypool is a deep ball receiver, touchdown upside kind of guy, you know? So, yeah, Claypool there. Food jacking. Let's see here. PPR Swift or Henderson? James, somebody asked that earlier. I'm going to go with Swift over Henderson in a full PPR. Okay. What time is it? 9:48. Okay, we got a couple questions we got to figure out here. Stu805 sends in one, says, gross decision to make today as my RB2. D'Ernest Johnson, Chris Evans, Ramondre Stevenson. Listen, I think the decision's been made for you. You cannot play Chris Evans. You cannot play Ramondre Stevenson if he is not the starter and outright starter in that offense. You'd have to play D'Ernest Johnson. I'm comfortable doing it, and that's why I'm ready to suggest it for you today. Let's do it. Umer C says Hendo, Swift, Hunt, Mike Williams. Need 2 running backs in a flex. Hunt and Swift at running back, flex. If it's between Mike Williams and Hendo and it's a half PPR, I probably just go Hendo because I don't know if Mike Williams is going to be full prime Mike Williams with his injury and Marlon Humphreys on top of him for literally the whole game. Jacksonville won. Is that a field goal for the win? Jacksonville is no longer winless. Congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. My prediction of the Miami Dolphins went down the drain, but that's okay. My record was saved last week of going 14-2. I don't even know how I went 14-2. Give me a second here. Last week, in terms of my predictions, we had the only two that I got wrong is I chose Carolina to beat Philadelphia. Didn't happen last week. And I also chose the Raiders to beat Chicago, which didn't happen. Otherwise, I got every other game straight money line correct in terms of predicting the winner. This week already I'm 1-1 because, the Jaguars wanted to ruin the whole experience here. Regardless, thank you very much. All right, let's see here. Cooks or Chase, PPR. We are playing Chase, whether it's Jamar or Claypool. Doesn't matter. I'm playing them over Cooks. Thank you. Stu, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. Jags won 23-20. Field goal, no OT. That's unfortunate. But Chenault got his yards. Marvin Jones balled out. We'll take it. James Robinson was a stud. What did Mike Gesicki do? Let me go see here. Who in this league has... I'm just going to look it up. I'm not going to even think. Where's Mike Gesicki? Gesicki. Please tell me you had a great amount of targets. Mike Gesicki, 9 targets. Chef's kiss. 115 receiving yards. That is the Mike Gesicki that I love. Let's go. That's fantastic. We'll take that. JL sends in a donation, says Rondell Moore or Cole Beasley in a full PPR. Wow, that's a good question. My only concern about Cole Beasley is that slowly but surely he's kind of been faded out of this offense. In the last 2 weeks, he's had 4 total targets, 3 receptions. And then I think to myself, well, who has higher upside as well? I'm thinking it's most likely, let's just roll out with Rondell Moore and let's get the most of it. All right, let's see here. Tater Tot says, Felton or David Johnson in the standard league? I'm in a rough spot. In a standard league? Holy man, I'm saying David Johnson. Yeah, we're going to go David Johnson. I don't know if Felton's going to be able to get anything in a standard unless he scores a touchdown, but he only receives the ball, so it's just tough. Yes, he got 20 points in a full PPR, in a half, 15 and a half. Thank you. Rusty Wright, half PPR, Javonte or Sutton? Afraid of Sutton floor. Yeah, if you're afraid of it, you can play Javonte. I'm not going to argue against that. I just prefer Sutton's upside rather than the unfortunate floor that could potentially happen. Flying Low says Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Sanders, or Tyler Boyd, full PPR. I'm going to go Josh Jacobs there. If you want a specific order, I play Jacobs, Sanders, and then followed by Boyd. Okay? Thank you. Lalo Mendoza sends it a question or donation specifically, but there wasn't a message attached. Let me see if I can find it in this chat, please, and thank you. Says, I got offered Waddle and OBJ for Stafford. I have Herbie. He has a bye week next week. Waddle's opponent's rest of season versus wide receiver looks rough, and OBJ has been disappointing. Take it. If you don't need the wide receiver depth, I think you can get more out of trading away Stafford. I feel like someone else in your league is going to be far more desperate for, potential plays in this scenario. So I'm thinking that you have a better chance of just going after somebody or getting somebody else. Now, if nobody else is offering, you probably just want to hold on to Stafford for one more week, use him next week, because again, Herbert is on a bye. Then after that, in week 8, you can go ahead and trade him. So for now, I'm not too enticed by it, and I'm like, let's just hold. Let's just make sure that you get a win in week 8, and then we can kind of figure out the rest, because people are going to want Stafford. That's a given. Okay, Dolphins are blank, 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 horrible, blank, blank, blank. Dimitri, I apologize if you are a Dolphins fan. That is unfortunate. The Dolphins are as, I don't know, man. I thought they were going to win that game. I truly did. I thought to myself, every time I've thought the Jaguars could compete in a game, they typically don't. So I thought, okay, you know what? They're probably going to lose this game pretty badly. And then they didn't. And I was surprised, mainly because Jaguars defense kind of stood tall at the end there and stopped the opposing offense. Connor or St. Brown, full PPR for this week. I would play Monroe St. Brown over James Conner this week in a full PPR. Thank you, Armando. I appreciate that. Robbie or Van Jefferson. I think I have... No, I don't even think. I'm pretty sure I have Van Jefferson ahead of Robbie Anderson. Let me check here. Robbie Anderson is there. Where's Van Jefferson in my rankings? I have Robbie Anderson as my wide receiver 52. I have Van Jefferson as my wide receiver 50. So we're going Van. Thank you. John says, start 2 non-PPR. Devontae Booker, T. Higgins, James Conner. I think I play both running backs, in all honesty. I think I play Devontae Booker and James Conner. Do I want to trust T. Higgins? Yes, but can I do it just yet? Probably not. So I'm probably just going to roll with both running backs in that scenario. Let's see here. Here we go, Steelers. Listen, I hope the Steelers win today. That'd be fantastic. I hope all of your teams win today. I mean, whether it is your NFL team or your fantasy team. Someone said early Super Bowl prediction. I'm going to stick with what I had in the offseason. I still think that the Green Bay Packers are coming out of the NFC. But as for the AFC, it is slowly but surely looking like it is going to be the Buffalo Bills. And if it's not the Buffalo Bills, it's probably the Cleveland Browns. It's one of those two teams. But we'll see. All right. So, Finn's riding the irrelevancy train since 2000. David Fast. Those are some tough words. Darrell Williams or Myers, says Anthony. Anthony, I played Darrell Williams there, my guy. Vikings defense or Carolina? Let's see here. Where's my Vikings defense? Vikings defense number 8, Carolina number 10. So I would play the Vikings defense this week over Carolina's. Is Nick Folk playing? I didn't get any notice as to him not playing. I know he was questionable, but I know they also didn't sign any other kickers this week. So unless they brought the other guy off injured reserve, I think he'd be fine. I'm not seeing anything in terms of... Oh, I need to actually change something real quick. Sorry. I'm not seeing anything in regards to him not playing, unless I'm missing something. Let's see here. Let's go to players. Let's go to Nick Folk. Let's just confirm he's playing. He's questionable, but no, he's not. He hasn't been given the out designation. You're good to play him. You're fine. Herbert or Thielen? Oh, okay. I was like, wait. It depends what the scoring format is. If we're talking about a half or a standard, I'd probably go with Herbert. Julio, a good flex play? I don't think so, unless that's your best option. Because I don't know what to expect. I don't know how much he's even going to play this week. Okay, let's see here. Everybody, good luck. I appreciate that, David. Good luck to you as well and your multiple teams. Let's hope that that point per carry league could, figure it out, All right, gentlemen, ladies, children of all ages, thank you for coming out today. I appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel every single day that you guys come out with your viewership. I appreciate you guys sending in all those donations. As for the slate of games that we have today, everybody, good luck. Everything that is on screen is my up-to-date rankings. Even if it is like a half PPR / full PPR discrepancy, it's probably going to be relatively close to whatever is on screen. Browns or Panthers defense, I have the Panthers at 10 and I have the Browns at 12. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again. It is 9:58. I'm probably going to call it there. Nobody sent in any more donations. I appreciate it, guys. I'm just going to answer questions from the chat until it's 10 a.m. and then I'm sending it. Quick one. Booker or Moss? I have Moss ahead of Booker on the screen, Ross. I appreciate that. Ross playing Moss also rhymes, so that probably works. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. Thank you. Feels good, man? Yes, I agree. I wish there was actually like Twitch emotes in this chat. Maybe I gotta find a thing that adds the like the BTTV emotes. Jamar Chase, Mixon, or Knox full PPR. I would play Chase there. Appreciate it, Joshua. All right, guys. Have a good one, everyone. As soon as the clock literally hits in 10 seconds, Andrew's going to be off the screen. Tomorrow, waiver wire episode. We'll take care of that. Probably might do a stream after tomorrow's Monday night game. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be answering questions via waiver wire, all that kind of jazz. Until then, I'll see you guys. Peace.